if they are thinking that they want to start an MBA, are there any expectations that they should not carry with them?
You know, the way people label it कि एक बार MBA करो अच्छे college से, उसके बाद life set. There is no guarantee.
Mental stress is something that I haven't seen any premier institute talking openly.
The committees that are made, or the groups responsible for taking care of mental health, they themselves don't really understand what it means.
There was a time when I was also dependent on sleeping pills.
I have seen many peoples. वो लोग बोलते हैं मैंने इतने रुपए इन्वेस्ट किए हैं इनिशियल स्टार्ट डेज में, मुझे इतने रुपए तो मिलने ही चाहिए, बट इवेंचुअली वो कंपनी की लायबिलिटी नहीं कि तुमने लोन लिया है.
When I say the ROI, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
If a company is coming into your campus and they are saying that we will give you 6 lakh, but you have invested 18 lakhs and you have that mind कि मुझे अपना ये ROI निकालना है, will you take that?
Welcome to ShivAdiAnt, a space where bold conversations thrive. This isn't just a podcast, it's a platform where we challenge the norms, question the status quo, and bridge the gap between what's taught in MBA classrooms and what's needed in the corporate world. From exploring unspoken struggles to uncovering the truth that shapes us. This is where bold ideas meet real conversations. I'm Kunal, an engineer by education and now a director at a Fortune 500 company.
For us, ShivAdiAnt is personal. It was born from the sleepless nights of self-doubt, the invisible battles of MBA life, and the unspoken challenges of navigating corporate realities. We have been there, and we have realized that the gap between learning and living is not just wide, it's isolating. ShivAdiAnt is our way of starting conversations that matter and sharing lessons that go beyond the surface. Because here's the truth, success isn't just about grades, placements, or promotions. It's about growth, grit, and giving back. I'm Piyush, an engineer by education and techie-turned entrepreneur.
So, whether you're preparing for CAT, tackling MBA deadlines, or finding your way in the corporate world, this space is for you. Because here, we just don't talk about success. We question what it truly means and uncover the realities no one speaks about. Today, we begin this journey together with you. And trust us, we are not holding back. ठीक है, अब करें शुरू अब. ठीक है, awesome. So in today's episode, we'll talk about the obsessions with ranking, ROI. Is it return on investment or is it really regret over involvement? The mental pressures, the relationships, and many more topics that people don't generally speak or discuss. So think of this just like your late night coffee break where we challenge, we ask questions, and sometimes we'll even laugh at the chaos. Without further ado, let me introduce the stars of today's episode. And I'm so glad that they both are here. It's not about that they have to come, but the sheer commitment from both of them to be on this podcast, to discuss these things that I'm sure most of the aspiring MBA students, or if you're doing an MBA and you might be doing it from a different college or from maybe other college, or you might be studying abroad, or you're someone that has just been placed, or you're someone who is into the corporate world but are not able to figure it out yet because you have just come out of the MBA. So this podcast is for all of you. And now we're gonna have Anchal and Aditya introduce themselves with a trademark of ShivAdiAnt. And we're gonna use that in all our podcasts, that is a shlok. We want everyone to recite a shlok, suggest and share with us why and how they resonate with that. So today we are joined by someone whose journey speaks volume about resilience and growth. Anchal Sahu, the name, has navigated numerous challenges from breaking personal boundaries to embracing the rigor of IIM. Her story reflects the struggles and triumph that shapes the path to success.
Thank you so much, Kunal, for your introducing me with such kind words. So, उद्यमना हि सिद्ध्यांति कार्याणि न मनोरथः न हि सुप्तस्य सिंहस्य प्रविशान्ति मुखा मृगा. It means that success is achieved through efforts and not just desires. For even a lion must exert itself to hunt. The prey does not walk into its mind. Hello everyone. So this shlok resonates with my life completely. That captures my journey. As life has taught me that nothing worthwhile comes to your life until you step out of your comfort zone. The very fact that I am here on this podcast is a great reflection of this, as it's just my way of embracing my challenges and striving for growth.
Now let's meet Aditya Yadav, a true story of resilience. After a skiing accident at 19 forced him to drop out of university in the Netherlands, he builds his life from scratch. From open schooling to earning a spot at the prestigious IIM, his journey is a testament to grit, determination, and triumph over adversity.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. So my shlok that I've gotten is chapter 6, verse 5 from Bhagavad Gita, which pretty much translates to, I'm going to be reading it out loud. It's elevate yourself through the power of your mind and not degrade yourself. For the mind can be the friend and also the enemy of the self. Now, taking it forth from the way Piyush introduced me, the journey that I've been on the past 4 years, the things that I've seen, from not giving mental health as much of weightage as I give now, to truly understanding the gravity of what your mind is capable of doing. It can be your biggest ally or your harshest competitor. And I genuinely believe that, being in the entire journey of accepting the fact that, it is the devil's advocate sometimes, it's required for it to be the devil's advocate, because if it doesn't become your enemy, it cannot start becoming your friend. So it's that whole journey of acceptance of that this, shlok talks about, which resonates very highly with my journey as well, which is why I've chosen this one.
I want to share some thoughts which I think are not part of the questions, and I would want to bring it up and have both of our guests speak about it. Anchal, I'll start with you. As I said, your sheer commitment, and that's not, I think, audience, you guys need to hear this, because it's not about that you came onto this. I think you have a story that I think everyone should hear, that how you changed all of your plans. You had an exam on 2nd Jan, that is today. Oh, sorry, that was yesterday. Sorry about that. And then you still made sure that you arrive here on 3rd Jan. You traveled overnight. You reached 3 in the morning and you're still here. So just speak to us, like, why you do that.
I just want to think that where should I begin with?
यहाँ पे wherever you feel comfortable. जहाँ तुझे लगता है, you will be honest. And one more thing, while these guys are discussing, I want to make sure that you guys understand this podcast and these podcast series will not be perfect. I'm sure whatever podcast you see, they're all perfect, right? No one fumbles, no one cuffs, and they all talk straight, but we are not those. हम हिंदी में भी बोलेंगे, we'll talk in English as well, but these will be real, honest conversations. Yes, we are still learning, so that's fine, we'll get there, that's fine.
So I believe that when life gives you a second chance for that same attempt, you should just take it. Because when you asked me to come on this podcast, at first we couldn't work out because of my exams, because it fell on 2nd, and then we were about to shoot it on a day later. But then again, I guess it was supposed to happen. You reached out to me, and then we had a discussion that, oh, maybe we can make it if we travel overnight. Then you know it, that I tried to convince my parents to allow me to be here. And finally, after a lot of convincing, they actually agreed. And yeah, here I am. So my exam ended at 5 o'clock. I just took a sip of my tea and left for my bus. Even the bus broke down. I had to change the bus, then get back to Dehradun. From Dehradun, I took my bus. Oh, that freaking 5 minutes. So I reached Noida at 3 o'clock in the morning. Went to my sister's place and I lived there. Slept for just 3 hours, going through the anxiety and everything. That maybe will I be able to make it or not? And then here we are.
And now you are making it.
Hopefully.
Yes.
I want to ask you this as well. Like, तेरा कल नहीं परसों तेरा birth था, right? And जब हमने पहली बार बात की, you had some other plans, right? So what made you change and what prompted you to be part of this?
I think I was convinced from the get-go once I had a talk with you, because the way it worked for me was one of my friends that you were already in talks with. He had called me one late night and he's gave me the context about what you guys were doing and what was the plan here. And it's something that I found interesting, but I wasn't truly convinced. There's certain things that I was thinking about. But then I had that conversation with you and I'm like, I really like the vibe here. And I've been very vocal my entire 2 years that I've been in IIM Sirmaur pursuing my MBA about the things that are not spoken about that much.
Yeah.
And I try to voice it as much as I can. And for you to give me a stage to kind of take the conversation further to reach more people. Because I feel like the things that I say or the things that are in my head, if somebody else would have said it to me before I started my MBA journey, I could have maybe gotten more out of it.
Yes.
Or things would have been different.
Yes.
So if I can be that person or somebody else, why not do it?
Yeah.
So I'm doing it for all, not that aware Adityas out there who might be looking at doing an IIM MBA, and I'm here for them.
This is great, and that's why I wanted both of them to introduce themselves, because they're just like the regular folks. Yes, they are doing their MBAs from IIMs. That makes them different for sure. But I think that's what, like Aditya said, that is something that we will touch today. Like the things that we don't generally speak about. And in our previous conversations, we have spoken and understood what the context is going to be. So I'm great you guys are here. So let's start the first question. And I want to start with Aditya, with you first. When you first entered your MBA, there would be some expectations.
Yep.
There would be some misconceptions as well about the MBA program. So can you just walk us through, like, what were your expectations? What were your misconceptions? And as you stand today, if you take a look back, how will you see that journey?
So it's quite interesting if I say it, because I never planned on doing an MBA as early as I did it. I always believe, and I still do believe, that doing your MBA comes after a certain level of work experience, not as a fresher. You don't jump directly into an MBA after your bachelor's degree. So when I first came to IIM Sirmaur, first of all, that part of Himachal was completely unexplored for me. I did not know what's there. The only thing I knew about the place Ponta Sahib, because that's quite popular. But other than that, everything was new for me. It was, I think, end of June that I had come last year, 2023. Heavy monsoons. So Ponta Sahib has the Yamuna flowing right next to it. So very humid, bad rains. We show up, we're signing up for our, we're registering ourselves in. There's so many people around with their parents. It's at that point, I think your mind honestly just kind of goes blank. Like your expectations or misconceptions don't have a place in your mind anymore. It's more of, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to be doing. These are the people who are going to be with me for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Let's see how this goes. Getting your hostel. Very funnily, so the way this was happening, we were going through a registration. Once we gotten, our slots assigned to us, we had to go to a different room, and in sort of like a U shape, we used to go from table to table to register, to show our mark sheets, register for our hostel and so on and so forth. And so there's this place where the seniors are organizing everything. The admissions committee and the other seniors who volunteered for it, they're making it happen, which makes it even better. Because instead of dealing with faculty or administration, you're dealing with your just immediate seniors.
Yeah.
And I remember I was taking my hostel, room. So I had to sign certain documents, and then you move to the next table where you pick, in a random mode, you pick up the key that you get.
Achha.
And we are on a double sharing basis. So roommate hoga, kya hoga, nahi pata us time pe. And very weirdly, the guy sitting next to me, he picks up the key. He gets room number 344A. I pick up, right after I pick up my key, I get room 344B. So that was supposed to be, I'm like, that's fantastic. That's the stars have aligned. And after that, it was very hectic, moving in. I actually took a day, my parents were there. We really like Dehradun, and we were 2 hours away from Dehradun. So I got everything done, everything sorted. Went with my parents, we went to Dehradun, stayed there for a night. The next morning they dropped me back, and then we just jumped headfirst into it. So orientation happened, you get to know each other, you're exploring the campus, looking at the faculties, seniors, everything. It's just the first, I think, month of your IIM or your MBA journey, anywhere you do an MBA journey, it's just a blur. Us time pe, nothing is concrete. No emotion, no misconception, no expectation, nothing is concrete. You're still exploring. And then slowly and gradually, once you get into the groove of things reality happens. Certain things that aligned with what you thought, certain things that were new, certain things that are hard to digest, and so on and so forth.
Cultural shock कुछ लगा like
Cultural
you are from Gurugram
हाँ.
and सीधा like Sirmaur.
Cultural shock to me, as such, I won't say. Mainly because you see, in India, if you talk about Gurugram, my school, where I've done my education and everything, I've been surrounded by people from all across the country. So culture shock as in and Himachal and Gurgaon, if I say, is not that different, at least jahan hum hai, Dhaulagua ya Paonta Sahib mein jahan hum hai, the cultures are not very different. Wahan pe bhi people are similar to the people over there in Gurgaon. जो students हैं वो भी गुड़गांव से बहुत है, NCR से बहुत है, बॉम्बे से बहुत है, इंदौर से बहुत है, साउथ से बहुत है, a lot of people around. So culture shock ऐसे नहीं था, but हाँ, it was quite interesting because it's such an amalgamation of so many different cultures. There's certain cultural events that we have. So if you see, I'm half Kerala, so my mom's from Kerala, my father's from Rajasthan. So I already have a mix of two cultures. And so if you have a festival called Onam, so for Onam, the entire people who are from Kerala, from the south, they get together, they make it happen. I missed the Onam feast that my mother makes, but I will tell you something: the people at this college, the food that they made, I really hope my mother doesn't feel bad when I say it. Those might be a little bit better. So if anything, it's not a culture shock. It's actually you get to dive headfirst into a lot of different cultures, which is very great. In 2 years, you can get a taste of, it's like a mini India that's happening in that curriculum, in that course. So it's fantastic. So it's one of the better things about doing an MBA from an IIM.
Anshul, what do you think?
Okay, so firstly, Aditya, okay, you literally made me live through my first week of MBA, because while you were narrating your story, I was just remembering my entire experience of how I come here, how I came here. So, starting with the misconceptions that you talked about MBA. So when you decide that you want to do MBA, it's all about placements. It's really all about placement. When you first decide that you want to do MBA, the very first thing that you are being told is do it from a branded institute. You will get good placements. So that is actually the first misconception, because you think that is the end game. Once you reach to an MBA, it's done. You are getting the placement, and that's what happened with me as well. So initially, I had no plan. I had a different career plan. I had no plans of doing MBA. But then I realized that I really haven't lived my life. So I never got that experience that I step out of my comfort zone. I step out of my own world that I really needed for my personal growth and betterment. So that when I decided, there were some restrictions, but yeah, we all have those restrictions and we just pass through it. And then, okay, when I remember my first day, so when I was leaving my home, it was more like, okay, finally I am leaving. I would be on my own, a girl coming out of a small world. It was like that. It was very exciting for that, a small girl. So she was very happy. So I came with my father. He dropped me. Again, it was raining. It was rainy season. It was raining. Paonta Sahib, small city, not even a city, it's a town. You have gaddhes everywhere, pani bhara hua hai, and rickshaw karke you have just reached there. And again, I was the second person to reach that day. I reached early. So we went there. I was so excited. But we reached there.
She helped them set up it.
But मैंने देखा है. But I literally saw them setting up things and everything.
Were you senior to Aditya?
I think you are. Yeah, you worked for.
I have just 1 year experience.
No, I mean because you arrived early.
Oh no, usme to for sure. I thought was very late.
Okay.
I'm pretty much newborn if you talk about it. I think I was the last person to come.
On the first day or second day?
I came on the second day.
Second day, that too last.
I took my jolly time to come.
I was super excited.
The journey from Gurgaon to Paonta is quite nice.
Yes.
Going up from Karnal, going all the way up,
We have done that
very
ourselves,
pretty. It's a very pretty road.
We just
Especially
love
in
it.
monsoon, like overclouded days,
Yeah.
little bit drizzling every now and then. Oh, fantastic. So I enjoyed my time.
So मुझे एक बात बताओ आंचल, you used this that you were coming out from your town, from your city, and you were excited to come here. वो excitement किसके लिए थी? Was it because you said तुम्हें MBA नहीं करना था, पर तुमने MBA करा? So excitement किस लिए थी? Because you were getting out from the city that you were in, or you were excited कि कुछ नया life में chapter खुलने वाला है? Like what was your thought?
So everyone has their own reasons of doing MBA. I had my own reason. I had no idea MBA life कैसी होती है, क्या होता है, वहाँ जाके कैसा होगा, normal college होता है या कुछ different होगा. I had zero idea. The very thing that I was sure of is that I will get an exposure. I will be out of that comfort zone. एक नया life का एक नया phase होगा. I will be meeting new people and maybe I will get a new life.
ठीक है. So Aditya, let me ask you this. So when you came from Gurugram, right? So you, and before that you had experience of working, not working, but studying from abroad as well. So if I have to ask you this, and I'm asking this for the students who might be watching this, that if they are thinking that they want to start an MBA, are there any expectations that they should not carry with them? Or are there any expectations that you should know that if they are coming to a premier institute of India, like IIM, at least have this kind of expectation, at least know this. This is what the life is gonna be, or this might not be what you're anticipating. Somehow they should learn that from the first-hand experience you have.
So I feel like if you're planning on doing an MBA in India from any primary institution or pursuing any form of higher education in India, I feel like, see, one thing that even Anshul said, that, you know, the way people label it कि एक बार MBA करो अच्छे college से, उसके बाद life set है. There is no guarantee. You know, what happens? See, it's steps that you take working towards what you want to achieve. Now, coming to an IIM, coming to a premier institution, takes care of a lot of steps in one go. You take, instead of going one step to the next, you skip like 3, right? Gives you a boost, right? But doesn't guarantee anything. Uske baad, there are too many variables. Life is too uncertain. You don't know what might happen. So if you come with that mindset ki, you know, ek baar yahan, once I enter the gates, uske baad I can take a back seat and I can chill and uske baad sab sahi rahega. Which is what I felt, because I felt like I've worked so much कि अब मैं यहाँ पहुँच गया हूँ ना, अब तो सब smooth sailing, which is where I was wrong. So what happened for me is that bubble, when it started bursting, it started hampering it was like the illusion was breaking around me. So I was not enjoying myself. I'm like, yeah, what a mistake have I made? Like, this is not what I expected at all. And I was reveling in that entire situation, you know, checking in classes, सुबह से शाम तक classes हो रही हैं, वापस आ रहा हूँ, you're getting into a rut. ज़्यादा कुछ वहाँ पे, because it's a very small town, कुछ ज़्यादा करने को नहीं है, अभी नए आए हैं, दोस्त वक्त भी नहीं बने हैं अपने. So I feel like have very realistic expectations from especially your MBA. You know, when you're coming to know an MBA, it's going to be fun, it's going to be tough. But if you can, you know, work through it, you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, what you want to do. You don't have to have like, मेरे को इस company का CEO बनना है, या मेरे को इस company में नहीं. But be very clear about यार देखो, I want to explore maybe marketing a little bit, I want to explore maybe finance a little bit. These kind of roles that I would possibly be looking at. Don't come कि यहाँ से निकल के 20 लाख खत्म सीधे जेब में आएंगे, CTC भी नहीं fixed. मैं तो उतना मिनिमम लेके जाऊंगा, एवरेज से तो ऊपर ही लेके टॉप 25% में सब. Everybody thinks that we are top 25%, which is not the case.
Skills पे काम करना ही छोड़ देते हैं.
हाँ. Complacency kicks in कि अब तो हो जाएगा. वो नहीं होता. वो and getting your bubble, that bubble burst, when you're inside an IIM, it's very tough to bounce back from that. क्योंकि 2 साल के अंदर time moves away so quickly, no? That once you miss a step and you start falling back, it's very tough to catch back up to everybody else. When I fell back. And I was working out to catch my way back up. So I feel like the story of the image that people have painted across social media and about IIMs and about MBAs and the future it promises you. And it's the same thing, you know, when you're in 10th grade. Like PCM ले लो, life sort. PCM हो गया, उसके JEE crack कर लो, life sort. उसका IT में जो life sort कभी नहीं होगी. Don't come with the point of view that this is the last thing that I'm doing and I'll be done after this. It's just a small part of what you're supposed to do. It's a small step that you have to take to reach where you do want to reach. But it's not a guarantee that it will get you where you want to do. It's a 50-50.
And I'm so amazed when I hear your responses. You ooze out maturity, which is very rare at such a young age when you're doing that. Because what I really like is, and I think what students, aspiring MBA students should take from his conversation is that if you're clear in terms of what you want, and I'm not saying that you need to just put it on a paper and write everything about it. No, it's about if you're clear why you're going to an institute. It's not about A, B, C or maybe IIMs. It's about why are you going? Because even if you go to IIM or if you go to IIMS, it does not give you any blueprint of success. Like you said,
No, there is no.
कि जैसे 10th में PCM कर लो and you go to the 12th, and similarly the journey continues. But what I want the students to take away is that it's not set in stone. It's something that you have to work your way up, and when you do that, there would be a lot of things, and I think Anshul, that is my question to you from this. There would be a lot of things that you will learn about yourself.
True.
Because this journey is not easy. तुम्हें fit होने के लिए you have to do a lot of things. क्योंकि तुम एक अलग बैकग्राउंड से आए हो और तुम अब एक प्रीमियर इंस्टीट्यूट में हो. एक उस प्रीमियर इंस्टीट्यूट का अपना एक वे ऑफ लाइफ होता है जो बाहर वालों को नहीं पता है. So let me ask you this, कि when you, like he told how life changed for him and what his thought process is for you, तुम्हारे लिए क्या था? Like is it like मेरे को fit होने में टाइम लगा या मेरे को expectations clear थी but still it took me maybe good 2-3 months and I know IIMs are so challenging. तुम्हारा वो moment क्या था when you said कि यार मैंने ये करने आई थी but मुझे इसके साथ में ये नहीं पता था, but I am glad कि आज मुझे पता है so that I can tell to the audience.
So when I decided to do MBA, I had zero expectations. But with the pressure that, okay, I have taken a loan, I need to repay that as well. So there comes the pressure that यार placement तो चाहिए ही चाहिए, right? तो जब मैं यहाँ आई तो there was one thing कि यार placement तो लग ही जाएगा क्योंकि IIM का tag है. Because you have that tag, because it's being labeled that it's IIM, you will get the placement. So I was like, 2 साल है, I will be enjoying. That's it. The academic तो पढ़ा है, तो पहले भी पढ़ा है. तो we will work through it. I didn't know the journey that here it would be, and especially when it's your first time that you are coming out of your home, and the first time you are on your own, that hit me hard. It really hit me hard. I felt that I felt as if I'm out of place. I never felt that this is where I belong. Initial 6 months were way too tough for me. So much pressure, academic ka pressure, internship ka pressure, and projects, presentations, so much coming up together. Then there's committee pressure and so many things happening together, and then there's this personal stress as well. It just comes to, and it all happens simultaneously that you don't even have the time to think about it. You are just going through it, and that's it. And again, talking about friends, I mean, it's way so difficult to find friends here because initially you think, you don't know how to judge people. You think that, okay, ye bhi mera friend hai, ye bhi acha, ye bhi acha, ye bhi acha. You don't know how they are. And eventually we all are human beings, we need friends. So we end up making friends, not knowing if wo friends hai ya nahi hai. So you hop onto people, from one group to other group. You just transition yourself until you realize that ye to aise hi chalega. You just convince yourself. And then so it always takes time, because as I said that as you said that it's a process, it's a step by step thing. So and there's a lot of learning. There is a lot of learning. With every step you have some experiences, and when you overcome that, I mean, and when you overcome those fears, you have a different motivation.
You have used the word mental pressure. So how that you guys cope up with that? कैसे मतलब mental pressure को like ease out करते हो? What exactly you guys do?
So everyone has their own way of dealing with this mental pressure thing. So, and it's not something which is being told to you, which is being taught to you. Even at IIM, it's nothing which is being taught. You learn on it or you're on your own. It's trial and error wala method. You try one thing, and then if it doesn't work out, you try a different thing. For example, if you have 4 assignments pending in a night, obviously you will assign some time to everything, or maybe you will just leave all of them and be satisfied that pass to ho hi jayenge. That's a choice that you would be making. So it's also about the choices that you are making, and that helps you relieve the pressure, because there are some people who aren't taking any pressure, despite the fact that they are not performing very good academically, but still they aren't taking any pressure because that's how they are thinking.
वो तो एक पर्सन का नेचर हो गया, राइट? सो सम पीपल लाइक टू टेक प्रेशर, सम पीपल डोंट लाइक टू टेक प्रेशर. बट तुमने एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट रेज किया, व्हिच इज अबाउट there is, it's always hit and trial, right? So that was my segue for the next question as well, mental stress. And I think Aditya, we can start with you as well. Mental stress is something that I haven't seen any premier institute talking openly. What I've heard about is, and what I've seen is that yes, there are some committees made, there are some faculties which are part of it, some students part of it, and you can just go and talk to them.
True.
But do you think that actually creates any value for you if I have to put you in that situation?
Oh, I've been in that situation.
Correct. So just walk me through, like, for you, what do you think about this?
So for me, see, the way I view mental health, I view it with a lot of weight. I give it a lot of weight. I've the way mental health is dealt with in this, not just the college, in the country as a whole, it's getting better, yes, but it's still taboo. In a lot of places, even in the college, it's a little bit taboo. People don't talk about it. Another reason why I tell you why that happens is people view it as a sign of weakness. When you open up, I'm not feeling too good, I'm getting anxious. There have been days where I don't get out of bed. People like, and then they look down on you. They pity you, which is not what you're looking for. You're looking for support.
Yeah.
So for me, what I've realized is my mental health takes the forefront of almost every decision that I make. Right? Say if you have like 4 assignments due, if they're pending, right? I know for a fact that I'm competent enough. I've reached it. That's testament to the fact that I can do it. अब मेरे को रोक सिर्फ मैं खुद ही रहा हूँ. So it will be done by hook or by crook. I will do it. When things get too much and I want to take a break at a time where I possibly can't take a break because there's like 17 different things happening in one go.
Yeah.
There are certain things that I do to calm me down. I love reading. I'll finish two books a day. Like I will take up a book and I will not let it go.
Yeah.
And I do that. जहाँ भी बीच में टाइम क्लास के बीच में 15 मिनट का ब्रेक है उसमें उठ के I'll read. My earphones are always in my ear. I've got my girlfriend. I've got my family. Any place that I can get a little bit of, my problems will not be solved yet एक बारी में. But anything can like chip away at it, ना. थोड़ा calm me down. थोड़ा मन बहला देता है. उसके बाद you can do one more thing. वो thought हुआ फिर तुमने कुछ करा. Then do another thing. It's back and forth. So there is no right or wrong way of dealing with mental health. College के अंदर, as you said, that there are, there is dialogue that has opened up about mental health. There are certain faculties that I personally would feel comfortable going and talking to them about it. I haven't yet. I don't know if I will, but I know that they have the potential, and I would feel comfortable talking to them about it. But not every faculty is the same. The committees that are made, or the groups responsible for taking care of mental health, they themselves don't really understand what it means. See, I've gone to therapy. I've done therapy extensively for a lot of things, and I've come out of it. So I'm very careful about if someone, and I've made it very, in my friend circle, I've made it very clear. If anything, you want to talk about something and you want somebody to listen, somebody to advise something, I am more than happy to help. Because there have been times where I needed it and my friends have done the same for me, so I will pass it on. So what I try to make happen is keep the dialogue on mental health very open, very comfortable. Talk to me about it. What happened? You feel like crying, you'll cry together. Come. It's fine. It's fine. It's good. It's good to let go. It's good. Don't keep it all in. Those all go away like that. And if you still have that, huddled up inside of you, you will explode. So for me, colleges can do better with mental health, but I feel like the average age of the people who are responsible for making the decisions, a lot of them still don't really understand mental health for what it is and what effects it can actually have on a person, on their performance and everything included. So I feel like things are getting better, but at the pace of they're getting better could be improved.
So tell me this, and you have raised some points which resonates with me so deeply. And probably you said the folks that are at the helm of it right now, they might not understand what mental stress is. So if I have to ask you, like today it's what, about 2 months left or 3 months left?
3 months left about.
If I ask the same Aditya, which is sitting with me right now, to go back in time, and if given an option, कि आदित्य तुझे क्या करना चाहिए कि जो अब नए स्टूडेंट्स आ रहे हैं उनके लिए एक बेटर प्लेस हम बनाएं, not in terms of the ambience and all that. It's about कि how should we create something meaningful? Like you said, IIMs have some faculties. You feel like going to them. And Anchal, I'd like to hear your thought as well on this. But ऐसा तुम दोनों क्या लगता है कि क्या करना चाहिए जिससे कोई एक practical, workable committee or कुछ something has to be created because you guys have gone through it. तुम्हें पता है कि ये अगर होता ना तो शायद मैं better उस जगह से एक I would have coped with it better. तुम्हें क्या लगता है कि what would be?
See, I'll tell you one of the bigger issues with, mental health is a situation you cannot tackle at a very like institutional level. Like there is no a single activity or a committee that can be made to help, make the place better mentally for a lot of people. It has to come from within, like for each person. Even in my friends that I've seen, the people who have been surrounded, my classmates I've seen, mental health or like taking care of mental health is frowned upon. It's like कि अगर इससे handle नहीं हो रहा तो छोड़ दो, weak है ये ऐसे कुछ नहीं. So I feel like if things, if they have to be better for students, the students themselves have to get more serious about it. We can't sit and expect that the people who are handling things or who are making decisions will take our mental health seriously. When we ourselves are not taking our mental health seriously. When was the last time you took a step back and retrospected and thought about what's happening around you? When was the last time you got sad? When was the last time did you cry? Why did you cry? How did you feel about crying? Did you feel guilty after crying? Did you feel relieved after crying? These are things that you have to every now and then ask yourself. Because if you don't take your own mental health with the same weightage that you take your physical health, there is no committee or there is nobody else who can come and hold your hand like, oh, beta, let me make you feel better.
So if I want to understand, what should we do? Or when I say we, I mean, what should be done?
If I had to talk to somebody who's, out there going through a similar thing, see, you will have somebody in life, that you can open up to.
So वो तो सारे होंगे parents.
नहीं वहाँ तो वही कह रहा हूँ. तो now ये इसको generalize कर नहीं सकता मैं. If I'm talking to a single person who I feel like, see, if I was last year, the first term when I was struggling with a lot of things, if I would have had someone to talk to, उस time I was not taking my own mental health seriously. Whatever I'm saying right now has come from my own perspective, like experience and of growth that I've seen. तो उसमें एक तो पता क्या है, a brain or a mind that does not want advice will never respond well to advice. So agar, even if I'm talking to somebody out there who's going through the same thing, but is not ready to take advice, it won't help them. If anything, it's more irksome for them.
Yeah.
So I feel like the first thing, and I said before as well, for anybody, any student who's in any situation, you could be in your high school, your middle school, your higher education, jahan pe bhi ho, make yourself feel more comfortable about being vulnerable. Understand that vulnerability does not equal weakness, especially when you talk about the mind. Talk vulnerability and dealing and understanding and accepting the fact that yes, I can be vulnerable sometimes. As we said about this podcast, like it's not going to be a perfect podcast. There are going to be fumbles and everything. Same thing is with life. It's not going to be perfect. You cannot do well hamesha. Every time you fumble or something, accept it, learn from it and move on. So if I'm talking to anybody out there who's going through similar like mental health situation and who don't have somebody to talk to, who are struggling to talk to, the one thing that worked for me personally was I write things down. I would write what I'm feeling, what I'm scared of. The one thing that I fear the most is uncertainty and uncertainty about big decisions in life. So writing it down. A lot of people also spiral. One thought leads to another and just gets darker and darker and darker and darker. What I do at that point, I ground myself. If I'm feeling like, I've lost my way completely, placement to lagega hi nahi, I'm incompetent. And then I'll write down, okay, so what all have you done so far? You cracked the CAT, you've done fantastically in your interviews, you have a great group of people around you, you've got a family that loves you, you've got your girlfriend that loves you. Ground yourself down, right? And then you will see those things slowly and gradually disappear from your head as well. Because you're talking to yourself at that point. So I feel like just be more open with your own self.
Self-doubt nahi karna chahiye.
And probably, Anchal, I'd like to hear your thoughts as well. Like, what is that should be done? Like, अगर किसी एक स्टूडेंट तुम्हें सुन रहा है जो अभी IIM में है और वो भी ये सेम चीज से गो थ्रू है, अभी कर रहा है, he is going through the same or he or she is going through the same thing, तुम्हारी उसको क्या एडवाइस होगी?
I mean, I also so deeply relate with this topics because I have I have faced this situation. So my life that I was experiencing in the initial 2 months, I thought that this is how it will be for the entire 2 years. I wasn't taking breaks because there was so much to do. I really wasn't taking breaks. Breaks as in even calling my parents, even talking to my parents. There went one entire week when I wasn't talking to my parents. Yeah, because of the pressure. I thought that I am not getting the time, and this is how it will be. For example, if I want to watch a movie, I thought that I will be able to watch movie only when the MBA ends. That's how my mentality was. कि भाई time ही नहीं है. It was like that. And then if you want to talk to people about it, because initially it will be, so there are a lot of things happening, but how do you express it in terms of something that other person can relate it with?
So Anchal, मैं तुम्हारा thought 2 मिनट रोकता हूँ, because I have got a really interesting thought. Let's talk about women's. Let's talk about girls. Okay, Aditya ने अपना perspective दिया, and he is coming from a male perspective. When it comes to a girl, it's not only what Aditya said. मुझे लगता है there are so many layers to it that we as a male cannot understand. So talk from that perspective for a moment. What a girl goes through when you say mental stress. Are you saying this is for all the girls out there, or you're saying this is only for you? Like, if there is a girl listening to you who is aspiring to be an MBA, और उसको भी पता है कि हाँ टफ होने वाला है, बट ये मेंटल स्ट्रेस जो है, द रीजन हम इस पे इतना टाइम स्पेंड कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज आई वांट कि पीपल शुड अंडरस्टैंड दिस, दैट मेंटल स्ट्रेस इज नॉट ए बज़वर्ड. एंड अगर तुम्हें लगता है कि मेंटल स्ट्रेस के ऊपर बात करके you will be looked down, then that's a problem. So just talk to me on that from a girl perspective. What do you think about that?
So firstly, we cannot generalize it for all girls, because every girl has their own capability and capacity to handle the pressure, right? So when I talk about myself, or maybe someone who has some pressures, so the very big pressure that comes to your mind is that, oh, you are a girl, you have to do some things that are in the limit, in your own limits. You cannot cross those limits. Second, you are doing an MBA, you are out of your home, but the pressure that, okay, you are also aging, there will be some pressure from your home. That
are you aging?
Everyone is. You are aging as well.
Anchal, you're not at all.
But at least you are growing up. There will be a question after
evolving.
some time. Yeah, you're evolving. There will be a question from your home that when are you planning to get married, or should you should start planning to get married. So this fear is always there. It's not there for man. I'm not saying not for every man, but generally males don't have that fear.
So you're saying वो भी mental stress में add करता है?
Yes, it does. It does. It really does. And plus the physical health and everything. Because if I'll say I am going through PCOD, not males cannot resonate with that, right? Only females can resonate with the hormonal changes, the stress and everything. Only girls cannot relate with this, and to top that there will be pressures and everything. So if you are going through pain, and to top that you have your ACADS and pressure, I mean, it is difficult to deal with that.
That's a different story altogether. Like, what, if I had like so much work to do and my body was actively trying to hurt me, so that's a lot of respect for
and
that.
Anchal, I think that's so mature. Again, I'm using that again, but I have to, because both of you are talking so maturely. And I'm glad you brought the point of PCOD, or you brought the point of the periods when your body is not going the way you want it to. It will have its own cycle, right? So उस time पे mental stress जो होता है studies का, is it only studies? You said there's a factor of parents, asking when are you getting married. That's another one.
Yeah.
But when it comes to IIMs, apart from the studies or the pressure of the assignments, is there another thing that adds to the mental pressure, which is of fitting in to that environment? Because you don't know them, you're just getting to know them.
Definitely, the question of fitting in is always there. Whether you will be able to fit in, whether you will be able to find your people to match, to vibe with or not. Because as I had said, initially you don't know who are like how people are. So if you are going through something, if you are going through some problems, and if you want to express it, even if I say that guys, I'm struggling, obviously 4 to 5 people would come to me and they will try to console me, they will try to revive me that it happens, everyone. Okay, so first there's this thing of comparing your problem with others. I don't know why people do this so often. Yes, I am going through a catch pressure, I'm going through projects. You are also, I mean, I am also going through it. Why don't you just see others? I mean, they're also doing it. This should not happen, because you don't know what's happening at someone's home, what's happening in someone's personal life. You have a girlfriend, you never know that maybe someone is having a fight with his girlfriend. That also affects the mental health of a person. You would never know that. You can only see the perspective that is being told to you, because not everyone wants to open up, right? Not everyone wants to show their vulnerability. Not everyone wants to show their vulnerability. I mean, even if I accept it that no, I am weak, but why would I want to show it to others? Why should I accept it in front of others? Because when I know that they will be making fun of me, and it has happened. You can go to people once, twice, thrice. After a point of time, they will be like, "अरे इसका तो ऐसे ही है, ये तो ऐसे ही रहती है हमेशा." You cannot cry in front of others every time, and it really happens because whenever you want to take a break or whenever you want to cry, people will believe that you are weak. You cannot handle the pressure. And that's what happened with me as well. There came a point in my life where I felt like going back. I felt like quitting. And at that time, when you brought up a question that at an institute, like what are the measures that could be taken? So I really don't have the answer to that question, because again, as you said, it cannot be generalized. Everyone can handle it accordingly. But from an institute level, I remember that last year when I was suffering through it, at the same time, I guess many people were suffering through it, but not everyone was talking it openly. And I heard it, I came to know that there's a counselor who was being arranged by the administration, who used to visit every Wednesday. And I used to visit him. I took 2 to 3 sessions from him. And there was a time when I was also dependent on sleeping pills, just for 1 week itself. I couldn't sleep. I could barely sleep. There was an entire 1 week where I couldn't sleep. I hardly slept for 1 week. And that was happening with me. And only I could understand. Even if I go to people, they would not understand. They would just make fun of it. So I visited that and...
Was it helpful?
It was really helpful, because at least someone was acknowledging that, okay, it's okay to feel that. Sometimes it's so important to have at least one person who just listens to you, because sometimes you want to talk to people not because you need answer. You want someone to just listen to you.
You just want to be heard.
Yes, you want to be heard, and it really matters a lot. Yeah, and coming to the committees and everything, I don't think that any committee would help, but society can. For example, in our committee, the committee that I am part of, we have this policy of 15 days leave.
कौन सी committee है? Which?
It's Media and Communications Committee and Admissions Committee, both. So we have this policy of taking 15 days leave policy, and this doesn't count your physical injury or anything that happens in your home. It doesn't count that. It counts it counts your mental health. That is.
That's really nice.
So I have taken 5 to 6 days leave when I wasn't feeling okay. And everyone has that 15 days wala thing. And even beyond that.
And Sid, I'm intrigued on this. Talk to me more about this. Like, what do you mean? Is that a committee that does this, or like, what is this?
No, we are a committee of media. We are the Media and Communications Committee, and we just have this policy that you can within our committee we have a policy.
में नहीं है शायद ये.
I am not sure about others. I don't think everyone has, because we really appreciate the fact, at least our people in our committee, our chairperson, we really acknowledge the fact that the mental health is a problem.
That is awesome. Anchal, and I think this is the best thing that you could have told to all the listeners. If there is a committee which is acknowledging this part, maybe others have to follow.
Yes.
I think that's awesome. And I love the word you said, acknowledgement. I think if anyone who is going through this, I think the first thing to realize is to accept and then to find someone that you can talk and acknowledge and get acknowledged. And I think this makes a huge difference. अगर मैं तुम्हें सिर्फ सुन रहा हूँ, and I'm just not judging you by anything, I'm just listening to you, and you say I just want to vent out, just listen to me and I'll feel light. Like you said, क्या रोने से तुम्हें खुशी मिल रही है?
Or you feeling guilty?
Exactly. I think that's so amazing. So if I have to say this in maybe less than 10 seconds, it's about we need to find someone, first of all, accept, then you acknowledge, and then you accept that this is something I'm going through. I have to find a solution. I'm not alone. Awesome. I love this. This was awesome conversation. ये वाली तो बड़ा मजा आ गया. I have a hate and love relation with this word. I said in the beginning, for me, ROI is, you guys say, what do you think about, what's the full form of ROI for you?
For, as far as I have heard, it's only return of investment.
Exactly. For me, it's like regret over involvement, to be honest. So let's talk about this. And probably, Aditya, let's hear from you. Like when I say the ROI, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? No question, just the word.
Ick. It's something that gives me the ick. Because it's like you're reducing an entire human being, or like, and the worst part is you yourself are reducing your own self. I've given 17 lakh to the education.
Yes.
If I don't at least break even, I'm useless.
Yes.
Which is just such a horrible way of dealing with your own self here. I mean, the people can look down on you and whatever, but don't do that to yourself when it's not your fault. If anything, the placement statistics or whatever is given out, the promises of 100% placements, the medians, the averages, numbers lie.
Yeah.
What people who love mathematics would disagree with me. Like, numbers are the one thing that always tell the truth. Sure, but the way they're presented can feed into that lie.
Yes.
You don't know. If you have 90% of the batch getting placed at like 14 lakh per annum, but you've got 3 kids who've bagged maybe one off, 60 LPA off-campus placement. Your average has gone up. Yes. That doesn't mean that everybody is getting 18 lakh or 20 lakh now. But people want to believe it because people are desperate. And I've fallen victim to the same thing. I believe that coming to an MBA or to an IIM, I'm golden. Like, I'm good. Whatever my fee is, even if I'm not, because I've taken an education loan, which I think most of the people have taken an education loan for it. So the ROI is also why people give ROI so much weightage. Is not just कि at least मेरे को इतना पैसा मिलेगा, मेरा job अच्छा लगेगा वो. It's also because मेरे सर पे loan है. How do I start repaying it back if I'm barely making ends meet?
Yeah.
Right? And more than that, regret over involvement is also, I would say, involving yourself in the whole conversation on keeping ROI at the pedestal that it's kept is the regret that you should have involving in this conversation. And sorry. ROI also, it's such a hindrance to your growth. Because there are so many better opportunities that you could possibly have, but you don't do it because paisa nahi hai usme.
Yeah.
And so many opportunities you're saying no to, or just at the face value, yaar iska CTC karna hai. But if you look at a lot of things, there's, for example, if I want to get into brand management, right, and there is a company that's coming, right, that's giving me a very good core brand management role, but it's not paying me as much. For me, I would jump at the opportunity because, this is what I want to do. I don't want to straight away, I don't want a 30 LPA ka package. It'd be great if I get it. But I'm not going to be saying no to everything else because I'm chasing that one maybe unrealistic number. Because I'm looking for that positive or that 10-fold positive ROI. So it also narrows down, it gives you that myopic vision of just looking at money and you're disregarding everything else that could possibly come with career growth, the brand that you're associating with, what could your possible trajectory be after you take over that role? Well, everything's gone for toss because why? ROI. You go outside and you talk to, and I've experienced that, you talk to my friends and they're like, what are you doing? I'm doing my MBA from IIM Sirmaur. They're like, oh, IIM. Oh, bro, that means you're going to get good ROI on your investment. I'm like, yeah, brother, I hope I do, but that's not why I'm doing what I'm doing. An MBA is so much more than just making a positive return on your investment. It's there for your professional growth as a human being, as a professional. It's there for you. which cannot simply be defined. It's like defining a person on this table with one word.
Yeah.
It's you can do it, but what's the point?
Anjal, what do you think about this?
Firstly, so thank you so much, Adit, for bringing the point of education loan, because it really matters a lot. This topic of ROI, return on investment or regret of involvement, is a very debatable topic, and it is a subjective topic as well. Because if you have the pressure of paying your education loan, obviously return on investment is more important to you. You have the societal pressure, the family pressure, bank का pressure and everything कि भाई 3 साल बाद interest कटना शुरू हो जाएगा. If you don't have the good placement offer package, obviously how are you going to repay the loan? You cannot depend on your parents, or you cannot depend upon others, right? So you have to own up, and you have to get placements in good company. That matters, and that's how return on investment comes to the point. But then there's also a perspective that return on investment here, for some people money doesn't matter. Them investment is them being themselves, and at that time you are selling yourself. It's not the money, it's you are putting yourself at stake. And at that time when money comes into the picture, obviously the values and the learnings that you are getting, that are brought down because a lot of weightage is given to the package. So I remember when my father told this to one of his friends that okay, my daughter is studying at IIM, the first thing that he was being told was that she will earn very good money. But if you ask me, I joined MBA not because of placement. That pressure came when I had to take education loan. When I wanted to do MBA, it was because I wanted to have the exposure. I wanted to learn. It was for my personal development. And I've had enough experiences that I am going to cherish for life. And they have made me what I am today. And obviously, I will encounter many more such situations and experiences in life. But when it comes to money, paying off the education loan, it's really, really, really important. Coming from a background where you're not financially strong to pay that off, to pay that big amount, especially when interest keeps on growing.
I have a question for you. Let's suppose you said you are not at certain time, you are not for placement, right? You are for learning. So let's suppose if a company is coming into your campus and they are saying that we will give you 6 lakh, but you have invested 18 lakhs and you have that mind कि मुझे अपना ये ROI निकालना है. Will you take that placement or not?
Yeah, again, that is very debatable because I have encountered this situation where I got offered a branded company but with a very less package, and obviously I was happy that okay, I'm getting a brand and plus I will be able to learn so much new and so many experience I would be able to get. But at the same time, there was at the back of the mind there was this thinking, there was a problem that how am I going to repay my loan? Am I going to ask my father for this? And that's what he told me. He said that you don't have to worry about education loan or anything. We will help you out. But I have convinced them, right? It was my decision to be here. I cannot depend on him, even if he is agreeing to help me. So at the back of the mind, I really wanted that. What if I try and maybe I try to get better company with better package as well? Why cannot I have both? Better experiences and better package as well.
What have you done for that package, like in your whole curriculum?
It's not your choice. Getting a good package, it's really not your choice. It is a process. So when you enter MBA, you cannot say that I will have 12 lakh, 13 lakh. I will get the package of 12 lakh or 13 lakh or maybe 20 lakh. You cannot say that because even if a person says that he had a great interview and he doesn't get selected, I mean, you never know what happened wrong. It's the process that makes you competent enough to crack that. With every learning, with every situation, with every experience, you learn something. You have something to speak in experience, and it's your experience that speaks in interview and not.
Like, let's suppose a company comes to you, like in X college, they are hiring for the same role for 18 lakh. And in your college, they are coming with 6 lakh. So what's your take on that? What you will do at that time?
You know, if I answer that, that is something that's beyond our control. Because if that company is coming through our college, if our placements team and our placement coordinator is handling that, we can't really do anything. We can't sit in the interview and tell them that even though I know one of my friends is in that college, so and so college, he's getting maybe double the amount of money that you're offering us. The moment I question that, I have questioned my college, and I've questioned the competency of my college, which goes against me. That is a reality that you all have to deal with. Every IIM has its own specific value, brand value, which will dictate the amount of compensation that's offered to you.
Yeah.
The quality of the companies that will come, the quality of the roles that will come, everything will depend from every college to every college.
What if they say that we can match the offer? You just tell me what extra you have done. What's your take on that?
No, again, that depends on if, because see, when in an interview, as much of it, it's a be yourself, be honest and whatever. It's a strategic, thing that you're doing. You have to be very, sensible in the way you're answering. If I'm looking at a person like Sirmaur, if it's someone like you who's asking that question, I have to be very analytical in my answers. I know that the way you think, you want something concrete that will convince you. I can't paint a story with words to convince you to give me maybe 10 lakh rupees more. I have to be very objective and tell you, okay, so I've done this and this and this. This is how I can be an asset for your company and so on and so forth. But again, that will depend on what role is on offer. If it's a brand management role, I can't tell you, say I'm fantastic with Excel. That will not work out for you because it doesn't add anything to, me as a candidate. But if I'm telling you, okay, so in my internship, I've worked on so and so brands, and I've written for these brands, and I've done social media campaigns for this brand. I understood the true essence of the brand. I helped them, scale up their engagement, so on and so forth. That is something that again will work in my favor. Having the answers to these questions is also something that your MBA curriculum teaches you. How to deal. Like one of my electives this term was this called negotiations management, which was I think by far one of my favorite electives so far. The professor who taught it, the way she designed the course was absolutely fantastic. Negotiation, as we have also spoken about, like you guys also doing your executive MBAs at IIM Sirmaur, and you said that a lot of curriculum that they teach you it's too theory based, it's too bookish, which doesn't work. You cannot teach a elective like negotiation management from by the books because it doesn't work. So the way that the entire thing was done, there were real life tutorials and simulations in every class. They give you a chit on the spot. Someone gets someone on the chit, and you have to negotiate in real time. So again, to answer your question about negotiating your way through it, that's something that you will do your own self for what you know, who's sitting in front of you, what's on table, what's on offer, and that will change accordingly. Using that change and changing it in the best way possible are the tools that an MBA, equips you with, so you can tackle those situations.
And you have to be strategically honest actually, because you have to analyze what interviewer wants from you. If an interviewer is a person who is judging you on the basis of your personality and everything, you have to be vocal, you have to portray yourself being as a confident person. At the same time, you have to be honest. And if an interview just wants to look for skills and everything, then you have to highlight your skills, your experiences and everything. For example, if you're going for a sales job, obviously the interview is solely based on your personality. How are you at the end of the day, it's all about how are you going to sell, right? So how are you going to sell? How are you going to sell yourself? There's a question. But if there's an interview for a finance role, obviously they will judge you on your skills, on your on the certification that you have had, and the knowledge that you have. Obviously the power holds that.
So Anshul, I think I want us to get back to one common problem here, which is when I use the word ROI, what I understand is, in my interaction with the students, what has been told to me is that, like you said, that there is some prerequisite because you've taken some loans and all that. So there is something which is connected to it by default, even before you enter it, an IIM, right? But when it comes to IIM, don't you think that only looking at the first salary is like a short-term vision? Because like we've been talking about this in the past as well, and I think you were the one who gave that answer, which I really liked, is when you look at ROI, there are two words for me that define them, and they are in that order. The first is learning and then earning. So you cannot have them interchanged. They cannot be. It starts with learning, then you become earnable. So my question is, are students in the IIMs are short-sighted when it comes to ROI? Because I haven't seen anyone coming to me and saying, you know what, I'm okay to take a dip in the beginning for a bigger vision. Like if Aditya tomorrow goes to a organization which is giving him, for example, 20 lakhs. Anchal goes to a different organization which is giving her only 5 lakhs. But if Anchal aligns itself with that company, and Anchal says, fine, I will work on my skills in the next 5 years, then if you compare that in the bigger vision, Aditya after 5 years might be sitting at maybe 30-40 lakhs, but Anchal might be more than that. So my question is, do you think it's the case of short-sightedness, or is it something that students in IIMs don't think about it? Like, what's your take? It's about thinking, or what is the mismatch?
It is actually about thinking, because again, I would bring this up, that you have this pressure of education loan, and that's what makes you go for the higher packages. But on the broader side, I totally agree that it's really important to have that broader view, because if you go for a company that is going to offer you some value, that is going to be valuable for you in terms of teaching, in terms of experience and learning. Obviously, it is so true. Even when I was about to join, I was being told that do not look for package. There was someone in my life, it was actually my sister only. She told me that do not look for package and everything.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Go do not also with the brand. Go with the role. If you are able to align with that role, if you are getting that knowledge, experience, if you are able to get that knowledge and experience, it's good for you in the longer run, because eventually you will have those experience in everything, and maybe in 5 to 6 years down the line, you will be way ahead of it. And it is also an open fact that even at MBA, there are people who say that, oh, I will be working here for just 1 to 2 years and then I'll be switching. And it is so much a popular thought. Even we also think like that only. Even I think like that only, that if I'm going to a company, I will be probably there for 1 or 2 years, gain experience, and maybe switch to another company.
But don't you think there is a factually incorrect logic in that? Because if you're going to a company, and I think most of the companies, when they hear this, and they would also know this, that if someone is coming for a shorter vision, because if I am in a company, I will spend 1 year just to groom you. So that's my way of investing in you. I'm investing that money for 1 year to train you. Second year is when you start generating value to me. So if you have this mindset, I'm going to switch, then companies will also get wiser. It's not only you or the students are getting wiser, they're also adapting. That's why you see, like what Aditya and Piyush were discussing, that if a same company goes to a different college, offers a higher package, and goes to a different IIM offering lower package, because they're also getting wise. The recruiters are getting wise. So just to sum it up now, so and a big shout out to your sister who kind of encourage you to think like that. I want people to think like this: learn and then earn. Otherwise, it's not gonna make sense. You might be very, very fragile in your vision, and when it breaks, it is not a good pill to swallow. So just to summarize this. So we are saying there is a short-sightedness among students when it comes to the ROI part. They only look at the first salary check, whereas it should be changed. And I think through this conversation, maybe some of them may start thinking not to only look at with the first paycheck, but something which can give them a higher learning, skills, networking at the end of the day.
And Kunal, मुझे एक और बात टच करनी थी, ये जो ROI का जो एक माइंडसेट है ना, इससे आई हैव सीन मेनी पीपल्स, वो लोग बोलते हैं मैंने इतने रुपए इन्वेस्ट किए हैं इनिशियल स्टार्ट डेज में, मुझे इतने रुपए तो मिलने ही चाहिए, बट इवेंचुअली वो कंपनी की लायबिलिटी नहीं है कि तुमने लोन लिया है, इट्स यू हैव टेकन द लोन ना, तुमने कंपनी से नहीं पूछा था कि भाई मैं लोन ले रहा हूँ, अब आपको मुझे ये लोन रीपे करना है, यू हैव टू गिव मी दिस मच अमाउंट ऑफ मनी क्योंकि मैंने इतना इन्वेस्ट किया है. यस,
कंपनीज आर आल्सो बिकमिंग वेरी
We already have become wise.
Companies are becoming wise.
That is where the concept of bond comes, and people are like, "ये company bond sign करवा रही है," because people are also cheating on them.
Yeah. No, it's both ways. See, it's circular in nature. So it's students are getting, companies have gotten wiser, and to circumvent that, students are also like, you know what, we'll join you. I will, instead of working for 2 years and working for a year and leaving, even 2 years later I will leave. एक साल I will give you the value that you want me to generate. And if I don't get, and the thing is, people say you'll do work for a year or you work for 2 years, then you will leave. If I've joined a company, that has been a good fit for my career path as I see it, is also, appreciating and recognizing my efforts. Is showing me that, merit, on the basis of your merit on your work, you will grow, you will get those bonuses, you will get those promotions. Why would I leave? So again, it's a thing like when people say attrition rates for IIM graduates are higher than usual.
Yeah.
There's a reason behind it as well.
Yeah.
No, there's certain expectations that because we're studying OB and HR and compensation and everything, there are certain things we understand. If I'm working for 2 years at a company and I'm barely getting anything for it, ना मैं कुछ सीख रहा हूँ, ना मेरे को recognition मिल रहा है, the work environment is hostile. Leaving is the smartest thing that I can do at that point. For that company, for my own self, for my ROI, for my loan, everything involved. So I think it's circular in nature.
And companies are becoming wiser because I have seen this in front of my eyes that I sat for an interview, and in that interview, company took 2 people and who according to them were stable enough to be with them for 3 to 5 or maybe you don't know what, because they needed a play, they needed a company, they needed a job, and they didn't took a person who was so competent, who was very good, who could have been their best choice. They didn't go with that person just because they found that that person has a broader mindset, he has a large vision, and this person would really switch. And that's when the company decides that I do not want to go with person who would be there with me for a short term period, even if that person is valuable to me. And they would go with someone who is less competent, but at least I can groom them, and they will work for us for a longer period of time. But again, as he said, that if you have the option, you have groomed yourself, you have provided all the values that you can to that company, you have repaid them kind of. Now it's time for you to grow. Since, as you said, the companies are not liable for my education loan. Exactly. Likewise, I am not liable to stay with them for my entire life. It's not a government job that I'll be doing there and then they are going to give me a pension and everything, right? So I will look for my growth, and I eventually, not in 2 years, maybe in 4 to 5 years, I will anyways switch.
And I think this is very interesting perspective that you both have brought out. And now we're going to move to the next segment, which we call as Sprint Bytes, the analogy from the corporate, Sprint and the Bytes. And we'll see some fiery questions being thrown at both Aditya and Anchal, and let's see how they respond.
So Aditya, first question. If an alien landed and asked you about the MBA experience, would you sell the game or tear down the illusion?
I will tell them it's out of this world just like them.
Okay, next question. What's the biggest lie they sell you before you join an MBA? And what's the reality check that hits once you are in?
कि तुम्हारी life set है, MBA कर लो बस, which is not always the case.
True. What's the first gut punch the corporate world delivers that your MBA doesn't prepare you for?
The attendance policy is much more strictly enforced.
Nice. Is an MBA about true learning or just a fast pass to a fat paycheck and a room full of influencers?
It's a mix of both. It's a fast-paced way that makes it seem like you're learning truly.
What's one thing MBA life that you wish someone had warned you about before you enrolled?
Not everything is as rosy as it seems from the outside.
What's the most personal sacrifice you had to make to survive the MBA grind?
My sleep.
If the MBA pressure was lifted tomorrow, what's the first thing you'll do to truly breathe again?
Oh, I'm now waking up for 8 a.m. lectures.
What's the one major change MBA programs need to make to stop failing students and started preparing them for the real world?
Update your curriculum.
Are you ready?
Yes.
What's the most absurd thing you have been told to do just to network and fit in with the MBA peers?
That you should start smoking.
Wow. What's one taboo issue everyone whispers about in MBA circles, but no one dares to openly talk about?
Sexual preferences.
Awesome.
That's a good
Do
answer.
MBA programs mold leaders, or they're just factories for training better cogs in the corporate machine?
They are actually training you to be the corporate majdoors.
Wow, hard hitting. Would you choose the dream job or is the pursuit of balance more important? What's your trade-off?
Any day I will choose a balanced life.
That's nice. How have relationships, romantic or otherwise, been accepted by MBA grind? Can love survive this pressure?
Definitely yes. If the love is true.
Awesome. What's the most uncomfortable truth you have learned about yourself during this MBA journey?
That I am able to fit into any situation.
Awesome. What's the one thing you regret not doing while you were pursuing your MBA?
Not going on the trips.
That's all? Should MBA students themselves be running the placement cell, or is it time to get an external agency out there?
Honestly, IIMs have always been a student-run body, and they should be in future. So having an external agency altogether will not help it. However, just support from them would be enough, given the students do not overuse their powers.
And are they using it today?
Sometimes yes, sometimes not.
If you had to give one message to anyone in the MBA college, if you want to take a name, do that. If you don't want to take name, that's fine. What would it be?
The only friend that I have made in this campus, thank you so much for being there.
You want to take the name?
Sweet.
All right. Angel, that was awesome. I loved it. Thank you so much. So now we move to the next segment, which again will become something that every one of you will look forward to. And we are calling that as ShivAdiAnt Edge. I'm going to give you 3 tales of wisdom to keep it with you as a food for thought. Challenge the status quo. Don't follow the herd. Question why things are done the way they are. If something doesn't make sense, change it. And true leaders innovate, they don't imitate.
Thanks a lot, Aditya and Achal, for coming here. We are so happy to have you on this podcast. And thanks for all the insights which you have shared today and to our viewers. It really means a lot that you guys have spared the time and come on such a short notice.
Oh, it was a pleasure. This was super fun to do. I really enjoyed myself.
Same here.
I mean, really, thank you so much, Kunal, Piyush, and the people behind the camera. I mean, it was really fun having this conversation.
Awesome. And I just want to wrap it up by saying that you guys joined us on the first episode, a journey that we just started. And we both are so privileged to have someone who can speak the voice of IIM Sirmaur. And it's a huge shout out to your college. And I want to correct that because that's my college as well. That's Piyush College as well. So it's a huge shout out that you guys took time. And thanks to everyone behind the scenes who made sure that this is what we wanted it to be. So many thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And for your effort to come here and belated happy birthday.
Thank you. What a way to celebrate.
That's a wrap. Thanks.
Chalo.
And one of the biggest coping mechanisms in every IIM or non-IIM is substance usage.
On the weekends you're doing it. You know, every weekend you're drinking. And the drinking is not happening ki yaar let's have a beer each. It's binge drinking.
I have even seen people जो नशे करके एग्जाम्स देने जाते हैं.
When it comes to MBA in an IIM, how does gender dynamics play out?
To be honest, it exists.
जो ये पूरा MBA प्रोग्राम है, ये कैसे आपकी पूरी पर्सनल लाइफ को कैसे इम्पैक्ट करता है? लाइक योर फ्रेंडशिप, रिलेशनशिप.
It impacts in a lot of ways.
If everyone around you is doing the same thing, you will feel the pressure of either contributing something to it and say, yes, I have to post something similar.
The amount of inferiority that can breed in a person is insane.